Okay, we're heading down LA 44, about to turn left or north onto the rest of LA 44. It makes a 90-degree turn right here. You can see the sign. Runs from Gonzales, this highway number runs from Gonzales, Louisiana to Laplace here, and in fact ends right up here at the junction with US 61. At 4:13 p.m. Central Daylight Time. It said it was going to get to 66. It's 64 right now. I don't think it's going to get to 66. I suppose it's possible. Okay. Merge onto here. Now we're going east towards New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, there's Airline Motors coming up. Opened in 1939 as Airline Motors, and it was a Chevrolet dealership. But they said the owner got into some kind of conflict with Chevrolet, and then he just turned it into a repair shop, a gas station. And I know, well, I used to go there for many years. It was just a repair shop and gas station, and on the side there was a cafe. Stayed open very late, especially Friday and Saturday nights. Very popular place. When they opened Interstate 10 all the way through to Baton Rouge in 1983, really it opened from New Orleans to almost to Baton Rouge in 1980. It's pulled all the traffic off of this road, which used to be the only route, continuous route, and that hurt all the restaurants along this highway. And that Airline Motors has been off and on, open, mostly open, but closed sometimes since with different owners, and none of them seem to make it. I might go check out. They got new owners just about 2 weeks ago, so might go check it out. I don't know. I can't keep them. I can't keep them in business. But I remember eating in there, and they had good seafood and other stuff. And you could hear them changing the tires next in the other room while you're eating. You could hear the equipment going. But this is the U.S. Highway 61 in Laplace. Laplace now. Over there on that side, they used to have the snake farm, which was a tourist attraction. It closed in '83 after the interstate went through. They figured they would have no more tourists. They shut down. But I've talked to older people when I've traveled around the United States, and they'll say, "What do you think about the snake farm in Laplace? We remember that on the way to New Orleans." And I tell them, well, it closed over 30 years ago, or maybe at the time, 20-something years ago. Anyway, we're about to leave Laplace, and we're getting into St. Charles Parish, and this little area is known as Montz, M-O-N-T-Z. Montz. But there's not much. This is the last building in Laplace right there, the kennel. There we are, St. Charles Parish. You don't see anything in Montz, because Montz is down that road, Evangeline Road. So everybody lives down there. Yeah, it didn't look like there's much back there, but actually there's a town with maybe a little convenience store. There's no grocery stores, but it's probably about 2,000 or 3,000 people that live back there. Pretty nice houses too. Now we're coming up to LA 28, which runs back to Laplace along the River Road. You can take a right, it'll go back to Laplace. Here we are on the Carre Spillway, south on 61. Put the cruise control on here without crashing. All right, there's an old plaque. Now this bridge was originally built in 1935, and they've upgraded it. It's a 4-lane now. They built that other side going west in 1984, but this part here opened in 35, and the spillway is an area they opened. You can see over there, maybe. Maybe you can't. They opened that up when the Mississippi River gets too high. They let the water run from the Mississippi River that way north to Lake Pontchartrain, and keeps the levee from overflowing. There used to be houses in where the spillway is, but they made those people leave, and the U.S. government, the Army Corps of Engineers, the U.S. Army owns this land, and so it's a federal, what you want to call it, area. And you can look down in there, you can probably see there's a sort of like a park. A lot of people go out there fishing, riding in the water, in boats, of course, or whatever, and camping, hiking trails, all the way to Lake Pontchartrain. You can actually drive, like you'll see that boat, that truck pulling the boat. They can drive on that levee, top of the road on the levee, all the way to the lake. And there's a park at the lake where you can go crabbing. Mostly people go crabbing. There's another highway starting, LA 48, that goes to the river, and that's the river road up to almost to New Orleans. Almost to New Orleans, just like this highway here goes into the city, and it's almost at the Superdome, about a mile and a half from the Superdome. Here we are in Norco. Now most of Norco's back off this highway, down those streets. Norco is named after that. When that opened in the 1920s, that was New Orleans Refinery Company. Now it's Shell and Motiva, which is a Shell company. Norco, New Orleans Refinery Company, and they named the town after the company. And it's not a very big town. Okay. So you'll have a line of different chemical plants along here. Shell Chemical, Shell Oil, which is now called Motiva. The Good Hope Refinery coming up, which actually, and there's the cops. Will they stop me and give me a ticket for holding a camera? I doubt it. They're guarding because they're about to let, the shift's about to change, and they guard, they stop the traffic and let people out. This little area is called Good Hope. That little highway there, 627, runs to the River Road. It's just a small connector road. You see Shell Chemical. And Valero, there's Valero from San Antonio, that company. Valero's, they own that plant, and it used to be called Good Hope Refinery, but they bought it out. And it used to blow up all the time. It was poorly maintained, and Valero's kept it from exploding like it used to. And it's a pretty dangerous place. I know people used to work there. They said every day they got off work and they got home, they were glad they weren't killed in an explosion. Now you might see bald eagles around here. There's lots of vultures, but because they like to sit up on top of those big power lines, power poles, and wait for animals to be killed. And when they die, they go eat them. So they don't have to work too hard. Now there's a big swamp, and that swamp runs to Carre, Louisiana. On both sides of this highway, LaBranch Wetlands. and part of that swamp is where they filmed, I believe in 1989, the original Budweiser animated commercial with the frogs, which later was taken off air, and the gecko later. Taken off the air because people said it was encouraging children to drink. New Sarpy, the town of New Sarpy, which you won't see any town because there's nothing along this highway here, but that's a deep swamp. You might see alligators. But down that road is a Harding Road, and there are houses and people that live back there. That goes to the river, and if we went along the river road, you'd see a little town. Now this town here, coming up, Destrehan, is also mostly along the river, but it extends out to the Airline Highway US 61. Now you see on that side it's just all swamp all the way north, all the way, it's a swamp all the way to Lake Pontchartrain, through Lake Pontchartrain, and north of Lake Pontchartrain, so it's a huge swamp area. This is a little edge of Destrehan. And we'll cut the video off right now because this has gone on long enough, and we'll restart it for a second phase.